Shavua Tov, Rabbatai. This is Rabbi Kovacs, and we are continuing in the Mishnah Yomi in the second parak of Orlah. This is a very exciting parak because it's not just about Orlah, it's about larger concepts in halacha, in Bittul, when things are nullified in a mixture, and about kashrus, very important. We mentioned in the sixth Mishnah of the first parak that Orlah is Bittul in 201. Now here in the second parak, we're going to go through a whole bunch of other items. Hatruma, meaning Truma Gadola, the 2% you separate out of the crops, as we discussed in the Mishnah Truma. Trumat Meiser Shel Demai. And Trumat Meiser is the 10% you take off of Meiser Rishon, give the Meiser Rishon, which is 10% to the Levi, and he takes off 10% of that to give to the Kohen, so it's 1% of the total. And even of Demai, really what the Mishnah means is even Trumat Meiser of Demai, the same halacha applies. Demai, remember from Masechta Demai, it was a suffix if people took all the tithes. The Am Haaretz didn't always take all the tithes. So they actually did a survey, and they found that everyone was taking Truma Gadola, because it's a Misa B'dei Shemaim, very scary, but not everyone was taking the Meiser Rishon, and if they didn't take the Meiser Rishon, they also didn't take the Trumas Meiser. So that wasn't always taken, so out of suffix, people would separate that if they bought produce from an Am Haaretz. That's the whole Masechta Demai in a nutshell. Including in this list is challah, which we talked about last Masechta, and bikurim. Bikurim is the first fruits which were brought to the temple and given to the Kohanim. All of these items are olim, go up be'echad emeya, 101, meaning they're Bittul in 101. If you had 100 seah of regular chulin produce and 1 seah of truma falls in, then it is Bittul. We're going to talk about Ola means in a minute, but if you only had 99 seah of regular produce and 1 seah of truma falls in, then there's a mixture, a forbidden mixture, and it's all forbidden to non-Kohanim. It's only allowed to Kohanim. Umitztarfin zeim, and these items combine with each other. The reasoning is because they're all called truma. In the Psukim refers to all of these items as a truma, so they all sort of in the same category. V'tzorich laharim, and you have to raise up. Meaning, when it says the word ole, it means ole, yes, it's Bittul, but we scoop one out. So the example used before, if you had 100 seah of chulin and 1 seah of truma falls in, gets mixed in, obviously if you know where it was, exactly where it was, you could scoop it out again. But if you don't, it's all mixed in, it's min b'mino, it's the same type of crop. So what they would do is, even though it's Bittul, so technically the truma doesn't exist anymore, halachically it's Bittul, but you have to go ahead and scoop 1 seah out and give it to a Kohen. And that 1 seah, it sort of takes the place of the original seah of truma, and you're going to give it to the Kohen to do the mitzvah of giving truma to the Kohen. Now the Mishnah continues with another category that's a little bit different. Orlah, the Kilayim, the Orlah that we're talking about, the first 3 years of the tree, and the Kilayim in the vineyard, as we discussed in the Mishnah Kilayim, Olin be'echad umetayim. You need 201. So if 1 more seah of Orlah or Kilayim falls into 200 seah of normal produce, it would be Bittul. Mitzdarfin zeim zeh. They do combine the Kilayim and Orlah, and tzorich laharim, and you don't have to take out a piece to give to the Kohen, because the issue with Kilayim and Orlah is they're usser. It's usser behana. You're not giving it to a Kohen. Rabbi Shimon Omer einan mitzdarfin. He says they do not combine. The Orlah and Kilayim do not combine. Rabbi Lezer Omer mitzdarfin benoten tam. He says they do combine when they give a taste. Aval lo le'eser, but not to make it prohibited. So a couple of things we need to explain here. Trumot and items called truma are Bittul in 100, based on the psukim mekadsho mimenu. That's the 1%, which is the trumat meiser, is mekadesh 100, and it uses the word malaya. And the Kilayim also uses the word malaya, pentiktosh malaya, lest the malaya become usher. It uses malaya twice. So our sages learn out, really it would be Bittul in 200 instead of 100 like Truma. So Rabbi Shimon says they don't combine because they're 2 different Isurim, but let's get back to Rabbi Eliezer at the end, who says when they're together, and they're combined together when they are notain tam. Notain tam means giving a flavor. So in his opinion, if there are 2 different Isurim, like Orlah and Kilayim are 2 different Isurim, if they both give a flavor to the entire mixture, then you combine them together and it's a problem. But if they don't give a flavor together, then it's not usher. So you can imagine a situation where you had a little bit of Kilayim and a little bit of Orlah, and they're mixed in with something else, like in a chicken soup, and someone nebuch, they put in a little bit of spices that are Kilayim, a little bit of spices that are Orlah. Now, if you could taste those items together in the soup, you would have a problem. But if you don't taste them, then Rabbi Eliezer says it's not an issue. Great. Mishnah Beis, Rabbi Isai. Truma male et Orlah. Trula can help raise up Orlah. Now again, the word Ola doesn't really apply to Orlah because we don't take out some out to give it to Kohen, but it really means mevatalit. Veha Orlah et a Truma, and Orlah can help nullify Truma. Ketzad, how does this work? For example, say a Truma shenafla lameya. So one say of Truma falls into 100 seya of normal chulin, achar kach, and afterwards naflu shlosha kabin Orlah. 3 kav of Orlah fall in, o shlosha kabin kilai kerim, or it's kilai kerim. Zohi she truma male et Orlah, Orlah et hatruma. So what's going on here is the truma fell into 100 parts chulin, so the truma is bottle, and the truma is going towards the total that's needed to nullify the kilaya kerim or the Orlah. So this bottle truma, which is part of a larger mixture, which is now considered chulin halachically, even though there's truma in it technically, can nullify a smaller portion of the Orlah or the kilai hakerim. Shkoyach Rabosai, a good yontiv.